Johnny Depp is a good thing?
That's not part of my assignment.
Okay. But you'll agree with me justice in general is a good thing?
Big fan of justice.
All right, me too. No further questions.
All right, redirect. Okay, yes, sir.
That's such a fucking debate lord shit.
Towards Ms. Heard, and I found that a super majority of them were using one of 4 different hashtags.
And so overall, what did your analysis find regarding negative hashtags about Ms. Heard from April 2020 until the end of January 2021?
Well, there were over 1,243,000 and change uses of those hashtags during that time frame you just mentioned.
And did you perform an analysis of the negative hashtags from April 2020 until January 2022?
Yes, I did.
And what was the result of that?
There were over another million, so 2.38 million, I think.
And how did you determine that the tweets were negative about Ms. Heard?
Well, I hadn't been asked that until later on in this, but I didn't think that that would be in controversy. I mean, some of these hashtags are pretty rude, and it would really surprise me that anyone would think that they wouldn't be negative towards Ms. Heard. But when I was asked about it later, I actually took a random sampling and looked at them.
Damn, bro. You didn't do sentiment analysis? Can you do that? Why didn't you do that? I mean, fucking Michael Reeves was able to do that for a YouTube video where he had a goldfish destroy Wall Street bets, right? Don't say it's hard. What do you mean? If Michael Reeves can do it for a fucking YouTube video, the Twitter expert should be able to do that, right? In order to fucking beef up their argument. And claim and 100% show with certainty that, like, even then it's not going to be 100%, but
and could not find any that were not negative towards Ms. Heard.
And what was the random sampling that you used?
I did 2 of them. They were 1,000 each.
And how did you determine which 1,000 tweets to use to review in each search?
I wrote a program that truly selected them at random.
And in your experience, is 2,000 tweets a meaningful sample?
If they're chosen at random in this universe, yes.
Okay. In addition to the 4 hashtags for Ms. Heard, did you review any other? Did you look at any other hashtags?
I did.
And what type of hashtags did you look for?
I looked at what I found to be 6 hashtags that would be negative towards Mr. Depp.
Okay, but Michelle, could you put up demonstrative 1, which is on the 5th page of attachment 4 of Mr. Schnell's expert designation. Mr. Schnell, did you create this chart?
I did.
And
why
what
didn't you think
data
you would need
is
to
this
do
chart
sentiment
based on?
analysis?
So this is based on the search API from Twitter, and it rolls up the number of tweets with the various hashtags by month of these 2 years. 3 years.
Your Honor, I'd like to make this a demonstrative Schnell demonstrative 1, or do you want it to be a?
If I could get it one.
Sentiment analysis isn't exact science, I know, but it would make his position stronger. Even though it's like, listen, even though I think that, like, the idea that, there's a Twitter drama, it's like so fucking difficult to parse through and like adequately point to and be like, oh, people on Twitter are mad at Amber Heard. Like, that doesn't mean anything, okay? People could be mad at on Twitter at Amber Heard because they're like personally fucking psychotic. You can also, it's very difficult to parse through all that information and figure out whether or not like a particular hashtag is exclusively being used to shit on Johnny Depp. In certain instances, it could be. In certain instances, it could literally be used to even cover the case. Like, people who want to say fuck Johnny Depp can still use Justice for Johnny Depp as a way to like reach out to a broader audience. So overall, I think it's like kind of stupid. Stats guys see sentiment analysis very sketchy statistic wise because they're very anal about being rigorous. How the fuck is 2,000 a meaningful sample? Come on, dude. What do you mean? 2,000 is a meaningful sample size out of 100,000 fucking tweets. It absolutely is a meaningful sample. That's not a problem. I'm just saying that if his goal is to fucking, push a certain position, you should have done that. What is Steven Crowder up to? Yeah. What the hell's going on in Taiwan? Louder with Crowder. As long as Steven Crowder still has a channel, any statement from YouTube that claims they care about bigotry or radicalization on their platform can be immediately dismissed out of hand. I mean, it's true. There's still a bunch of vids up on Crowder's channel featuring Owen Benjamin, who's literally an open Hitler praising neo-Nazi with ads for Crowder's merch on them. 2,000 is a meaningful sample. By the way, for those of you who don't know,
One of the numbers, since it's going to be part of the record, just
Okay, can we call it Chanel demonstrative 1, and then I will give you a number?
the last number I have is 1837. I don't know.
Do we know if that's the last?
Can
Can we make it? How about we make it 1900? That way, it's not. Can we just make it 1900?
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right, 1900 it is. Any objections to demonstrative?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can publish that.
And is this the chart you made, Mr. Schnell?
It is.
to be fair, I take back what I said about mental illness and this guy not having it, because if he reviewed 2,000 fucking tweets about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial manually, then he does have mental illness. I take it back. Or at least after that, he has given himself mental illness. So at that point, he is a broken man. In which case, he is absolutely a expert. Like he has the bona fides. Like the Amber Heard team could pull me up as an expert witness on mental illness in Twitter. Testify that he has enough mental illness for sure.
Yes.
Okay. And at the top here, there are hashtags that are in yellow. You see that?
I do.
Okay. And if we go all the way to the right, well, first let's scroll over to the left here. I apologize. You see, in 2020, there's the months of June and July.
I do.
Okay. And what are these columns? First, tell the jury what they represent.
So each of these is the number of tweets with the hashtags, with the corresponding hashtag during that month.
Okay. And if we look at the first one in yellow, you see that first hashtag, the fourth one over?
I do.
And are there any, what does it show from 2018 to July of 2020?
There were none.
And then what happens in August of 2020?
Well, there's a remarkable jump from July to August of 2020. It goes from 0 to 13,878.
And if we scroll to the right, the last three hashtags, which are highlighted, or shows the difference between June and July. What did your analysis show?
Well, you can see that June is about at its steady state. In July, there's also a remarkable jump.
And that's for all three of those hashtags?
That's correct.
Okay. And the hashtags, if the hashtags that are in blue are the ones related to Mr. Depp, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, by the way, what is your understanding of when the last alleged defamatory statement was made by Mr. Depp through Mr. Waldman?
My understanding is that it was the end of June of that year.
Of 2020?
Okay, this is boring. I'm going to peek into what's going on live in the case. And then if that's boring as well, I'm going to move on. Adam Conover is on his way here.
It's a superhero movie.
Right. It's supposed to be like a buddy comedy, right?
This is fucking day 20 of this goddamn trial.
I don't know. I don't know about a buddy comedy. It's an action movie, superhero
What's
movie.
the,
Who's Patrick Wilson?
Patrick Wilson. I've heard that name in terms
Who's
of
on?
an actor, but I don't know Mr. Wilson.
All right. Do you know if he appears in Aquaman?
Again, I don't know him by name. If you want to show me a picture, or a clip from the movie.
All right. Do you know if Mr. Wilson appears more frequently in Aquaman than your client does?
I didn't count the screen time when I watched the movie. It was a long, even when I watched it again, I didn't.
We are reaching the bottom of the barrel. I'm reaching your mother's bottom of her barrel, i.e. her pussy, with my cock. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Count the screen time of anybody else.
Did you read the testimony of Mr. Hamada?
We discussed that, yes.
You disregarded all of it in your analysis as to her ability to renegotiate, correct?
Well, I remember the part where Mr. Hamada said that from time to time they will break their philosophy and renegotiate. It's what they did with Jason Momoa and with Gal Gadot. So, it coincides with what we know in the industry, which is it can be done.
It's what they did with the two title characters in the DC universe.
Again, I've worked in the business for a long time, and I've seen a lot of actors renegotiate their careers. I'm sorry, not their careers, renegotiate their fees. It's common practice. And it's certainly what the agent will think about first when a movie makes $1 billion+ dollars.
Right. Again, focused on the agent, but it's the studio that pays the bills.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right.
Bro. Stuff like this, I promise you don't come across as like the intellectually superior giant. Okay? You're just a fucking Twitch chatter who doesn't like the content on the screen. Like you're not coming across as like super smart. Like no one is going to DM you to be like, "Can I fuck you?" You seem to be like incredibly intelligent. Like it's very obvious that like your level of brain processing power is significantly higher than everybody else.
And that L'Oreal has concerns about using her because every time they try to use her, people respond negatively to her.
People don't. The Depp fan base has responded, have posted negative things about Ms. Heard on their campaigns.
So, did you say the Depp fan base?
Well, people that were using the hashtags that were consistent with the rest of the Depp fan base.
Yeah, but there are people posting negative things that, other than things that came from Mr. Waldman, correct?
I haven't seen all the. I
I use plastic utensils because I hate the environment and I love destroying
discussed and what L'Oreal said in their communications.
All right. They made. Do you see L'Oreal make a word cloud of the words that were most?
I literally want to kill
commonly
turtles.
Associated with Ms. Heard in its marketing campaigns.
I knew they did that. I didn't see it myself, actually.
Right. Do you know what words there were?
Again, no.
Okay. You didn't talk much about this, but in order to get to the damage analysis that you got, the $45 million, I think at least initially you suggested that Ms. Heard would have a role producing and starring in a movie, and that she would make $12 million.
I've talked about that, but in the latest calculation, that was really less what I considered and more about what films and TV and endorsement deals that she would do. The producing was something that she had wanted to do, and again, Mr. Momoa got that, so that's where the agents were discussing those figures with me.
The last movie that she has a production credit for is in 2013, right?
Again, I haven't memorized her resume.
was a movie called Syrup. Did you ever hear of it?
No. Aside from having probably seen it on her IMDb.
And Soon the Darkness. That's her other production credit, right?
If you say so. If you're reading it off of her resume, I will believe you, yes.
2010?
Okay.
All right. 12 years ago. But you, at least at some portion of at some point in this analysis, were of the mind that she would recover $12 million with a producing role and a starring role in a movie? Because that's what Mr. Momoa got.
Again, the agents were just saying that those were the kinds of numbers they were looking at.
Bro,
to
this
help
is
her
like,
as she
this
was
is
growing.
spiraling out of control. Now we're talking about like Amber's
Those are the
damages,
kind of
right?
numbers the agents
And with
would
respect to like
her
what
to get.
Amber
Right,
lost.
again, I didn't use that in the final
Meanwhile, the real
analysis of my
damages that need to be
45
addressed
minutes,
is the
so
top of the hour
it was
ad break
just
and how much
a
I'm
discussion
losing
point because that's what the agents wanted me to consider.
at the top of the hour if I don't run a fucking 60-second ad break. Of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 or you can do that for free. Adam Conover of Adam Ruins Everything is going to be over in a little bit, okay? Remember that.
I didn't
But if
say
you
the
want an free
breakout
broadcasting
role, but I
experience,
used it as the
here it is.
superhero
Here's the
in
1 minute ad
movie
break
that
now.
was
All
a
you need to do is
superhero
subscribe.
Kind of super box office success. I think that, some of her other critically acclaimed movies probably helped her break into that role, which would have been The Danish Girl, and then her work in Justice League, which was a natural progression to getting to star in Aquaman.
All right. But
Okay, I'm going to look at the capitalism. Real capitalism has never been tried bullshit in a second, okay? Just keep watching this for a
I
second.
used
I'll
breakout.
be back.
Perhaps you didn't, but this
And stop being fucking annoying.
and either. I mean,
Like, I already know people in my community don't want this, okay? I already know. I know. It reflects it. It is reflected in the fucking view count. Like, I have too many fucking snobs and too many fucking radfems in my chat to like actually watch this without literally like being able to like actually cover this with any sort of adequate analysis necessary to cover it. Because if it is up to the radfems in my community, they're like, oh my god, why are you even covering it? This is so boring. This is so awful. And also it's like bringing out the incels, and it's like, yeah, bringing out the incels is not a bad thing in this situation, because otherwise the only people that are covering it are fucking incel motivators, incel farms. Okay, very triggering subject that's been pushed everywhere. Then don't watch it. And most of the reason why I cover it is because I want to talk about the possible ramifications for allowing this trial to be like constantly fucking covered. Why are you looking at VCount? Pokey doesn't look at VCount. I mean, you can hear it. Take an hour off, Bad Emmanuel, and then go watch it there then. And it's fucking annoying because like this is a turn of, I guess, in some ways, it is literally a turning point for. It's going to be the second, it's basically going to be the second fucking incel coming. And I see it ahead of time, and I'm trying to fucking adequately have as much information as possible on this and adequately cover it and hopefully make sure that like people don't lose their fucking minds over it. But some of you don't want to see it that way. You know?
Shot, so you'd have to tell me when it was shot. Movies get released at different time frames. Like they can be shot in 2016 and not get released till 2018. So you'd have to tell me. We'd have to look at the actual filming dates of the Gully for me to talk to you about that.
she wasn't initially cast in Gully, was she?
I'm not familiar with the casting process of Gully.
As a 23% is a little bit harsh to cause all radfems to easily explain with their communities burnout, 20+ day trial full of ultra elite people. I haven't covered it though. I think the problem is a lot of you literally wake up in the morning and watch other content creators cover the trial. So then you get bored when I cover it again or something, okay? But it's usually me looking at it for the first time. Like, you probably have watched it already, which is why you're annoyed that I'm rewatching it. It's like when a fucking streamer, when a fucking watcher of another streamer will literally come in and be like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck? You've covered it like 3 days, maybe 4 out of weeks." Exactly. Yeah, see? True, I was watching Extreme Pokey earlier. There you go. Hella people will literally be like, "Oh, well, I saw this already," or, you know, whatever, and then come in here and get mad at me. It's like rewatching the same fucking... No, you started the stream saying you weren't going to cover it anymore? I mean, I'm looking at it for like 10 fucking minutes live for the first time ever. Pokey and Asmin get up early and they come back and see you. Those chatters suck. Yeah, I'm going to wake up one of these fucking days and like wake up before everyone else and cover it ahead of time. And you know, be on the top of the leaderboard for this, you know, trial coverage.
The contract is negotiated prior to the release of Aquaman.
Okay.
And I'm going to fucking title it like Amber Turd fucking sucks. Absolute worst person. Just min-max it. You know what I mean?
Is there a